going on, fight fans? Your boy AC again from Eastern Boxing UK. As always, Eastern Boxing UK is in association with threekingsboxing.com. Hopefully you've just seen that I put out a video on Tommy Langford and Jack Armfield's fight this coming Saturday, so don't forget to check that out. But I'm straight back with another one. I've literally just seen on Sky Sports actually, and I wasn't aware of this, but Ryan Burnett has vacated his IBF Super Bantamweight title. So last year he had a great year and he unified who's already won IBF belt with that of the WBA Super title, and he did that in a dominant points win over Zenat Zinnikov in October of last year. It's literally just been announced actually that he faces his mandatory challenger for the WBA belt, and that's Venezuelan Yonfres Pereiro, and that'll be on the same bill as Anthony Joshua's World Heavyweight title fight with Parker on March 31st, and that's live on Sky Sports Box Office. So apparently he's had to vacate his IBF belt after he was ordered to fulfill a mandatory defence by that governing body. But the unbeaten 25-year-old is focusing on only producing another impressive performance in front of a Cardiff crowd. He said that I'm delighted to be added to the show. It's going to be an incredible experience to defend my world title in front of 80,000 in Cardiff, said Burnett. Wrong, you ain't defending in front of no 80,000 in Cardiff. I've been to so many matchroom shows where the fans don't turn up until the last second. They're all going to turn up for AJ. So whilst it's definitely going to be your biggest crowd, my boy, it is not going to be in front of 8,000 in Cardiff. That made no means about that. He's also said that, look, I don't really get involved in the politics, but we knew that when we faced Zinnikov, that it was likely that we may have to vacate one of the belts because of mandatory challenges. I've unified the division and now we move on to new challenges. You haven't unified anything, right? You've lost one of your belts straight off the cuff. I know boxing politics are tough, right? But yeah, you're back down to being a singular champion of one governing body. He said, I expect a tough fight against Pereiro. Our stars should gel for a great fight, and I'm looking forward to making another statement on March the 31st. Eddie Hearn apparently tried to reach an agreement with the IBS mandatory challenger Emmanuel Rodriguez. You might have seen that I broke an article on Three Kings Boxing about that, or threekingsboxing.com about that last week. Hearn has said that the IBF called an interim title bout between Rodriguez and Lee Haskins, so we proceeded to make the fight with our WBA mandatory, and that was Pereiro. Last week we were notified that the bout would no longer take place, and that Rodriguez's team were not willing to negotiate, and they called immediate purse bids. Our deal was already in place with Pereiro, so we will vacate our IBF title and continue to face our WBA mandatory. I'm not sure what to make of this, in all honesty, guys. Make no mistake about it, I like Ryan Burnett as a fighter. I really, really do. I like all Adam Booth trained guys. Adam Booth happens to be a style that I particularly like, and he gets his fighters fighting in a certain way. But that being said, I've got to kind of wonder what's going on with his team and whether they've got full confidence in his names out there, against the further big names at Super Bantamweight. Zolani Tete, the WBO champion, has been calling for a fight with him for fucking ages, and that fight doesn't seem to have materialised. Now, okay, I know that there are some internal politics there because Hearn and Frank Warren don't necessarily play nice, but Tete's been calling that name out for quite a while. Granted, he's now got a calf injury which prevented his fight against Omar Narvaez, which is why the Untouchables were to be cancelled last weekend. But that's potentially a fight that he should be looking at further down the line. He could end up actually having to fight Lee Haskins or Lee Haskins' opponent down the line at some point. As I said, that this was a fight that we expected to be made against Emmanuel Rodriguez, but it didn't. You have to think about what's going on and whether that's going to happen. I'm not entirely sure. I'm really not. But anyway, that's just me. I don't know what's going on with Ryan Burnett's team. I'm a bit disappointed. I realise sometimes the governing bodies make it quite difficult for world champions to keep all of their belts without paying a silly amount of sanctioning fees, or unless your name is Anthony Joshua, in which case people seem to close doors when they need to be closed, and money talks on occasion. But hey, I'm speculating. Anyway, that's all from me. Thanks for listening.